What up, my dudeskies? Today, we're going to be talking about MXGP 2020. Yeah, don't know if that's what it's actually going to be titled or whatever the hell, right? Just kind of saying whatever that next MXGP game is. Technically, it'd be what, like MXGP 6 or whatnot, right? And just their overall sort of vibe that they're going with MXGP 2019, right? Kind of funny how they they always do these like different names on they start doing like completely different names of the titles, like MXGP Pro to kind of make you feel like it's something completely different, and then it's like MXGP 2019 to make you feel like it's something completely different. So there's no telling what they're going to do next year. You got to love that wonderful pop-off system of MXGP Pro. That'll go down in history as the worst pop-off mechanic there ever has been in any motocross game ever. Swear to God. Swear to God, dog. But anyways, so I really don't think that MXGP 2019 is going to really live up to a lot of just the standard expectation of what it would be. Like, I don't think it's going to have what a lot of you guys want the game to have as far as on-track design, bigger jump vibe, inside ruts, actual roughness, kickers to jump faces, difficult jumps on the motocross tracks. I just really don't think it's going to have it. And that's what I'm saying. And if for some odd, crazy, bizarre, wild reason, they go in there in this month or however much longer it is till MXGP 2019 comes out, and they just throw in some hardcore inside ruts on a lot of the tracks and then somehow add roughness all of a sudden, like what we haven't really seen in the trailers. If MXGP 2019 comes out and it all of a sudden has all this crazy shit that we didn't see in any of the trailers, if they went in there and changed it last second, don't you dare come in here and be like, "Oh, Spencer, look, I told you so. They could change it in time. I told you it's going to be a good game. I told you all this shit." No, motherfucker. No. What you need to understand is it should have just had that in it, period. Like, that's just what we expected it to have. So if they do go in there and change all that shit real quick for MXGP 2019, that's just what's expected. That's not even like, "Oh, you got me. You told me so. Oh, shit." No, dog. It's not like that at all. So don't even try to play that shit on me. Don't even try. Like, I'm not gonna have that shit, man. If they go in there, yeah, I'm gonna be a lot more happy if they go in there and make those improvements before MXGP 2019 comes out, even though I highly doubt they're gonna do that. But it's not like, "Oh God, I'm so wrong and I'm so terrible," and they're like, no, that's what is expected. So I just want you guys to understand that before I even get into this shit, because that is a possibility. They could do that for MXGP 2019, but I really don't think you're going to see the hardcore inside ruts, any of that kind of stuff until like MXGP 2020, I mean, I really don't think you're going to see that until then, and you may never see it. What they may end up doing is trying to go more down the terrain deformation route versus the pre-made ruts and roughness route, you know what I'm saying? So you may still have like pretty flat track vibe tracks from the start, but then maybe their terrain deformation just makes more hard inside ruts, but that's really difficult to make a terrain deformation that can actually make really good ruts and roughness and like what you can make pre-made, you understand what I'm saying? Super difficult to get a terrain deformation system to really do that. Like very, very difficult. And even with Reflex, it has I would say the best terrain deformation of any of the motocross games right now, and it still has a lot of pre-made roughness and pre-made ruts and all that kind of stuff in that game. And it has one of the best terrain deformations. I mean, I consider it the best terrain deformation system of any motocross game. So I love when these motocross games, especially like modern day MX Simulator, they try to act like you can just have the terrain deformation system of the game make the entire motocross track. I love when they act like they can do that when literally like that just doesn't work like that. It's never going to make it like you really want it to. It's going to be real hard to ever advance a terrain deformation system to that point. I mean, I literally feel like it would take another 5 to 10 years to get a actual motocross game terrain deformation system to that level where you can just start with a perfectly flat track and it make really good roughness, really good hard grab you inside ruts, all that kind of shit, just by riding on the track. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, that is not something that is going to be done in the near future. That's a very futuristic motocross game sort of mechanic, and none of the motocross games have that at this point, really. They have these terrain deformation systems that sort of make a rut, but a lot of times it's way too soft and you'll blow it out and it won't really make roughness, or it'll just be more visual. It won't even really do a whole lot on the actual track itself, right? But it's just, it mind baffles me how the Milestone can even come out with a trailer of MXGP 2019, and it literally damn near looks just like MXGP Pro as far as the on-track. I just don't see how on God's green earth they thought that was going to be acceptable in the motocross community. And of course, you're going to have the Milestone fanboys that literally, they could not even change anything, and they're going to be satisfied with that. Oh yeah, it's another official motocross game. Hell yeah, just take my money. Just take it for the 7th year in a row with a 10% improvement on each one of your games. Just take my money, bruh. You know what I mean? There's some people that just, they don't care. It's like that they don't, and a lot of those kind of people literally have no idea what the hell MX Simulator is, have no idea what the hell Reflex is on PC or Xbox 360. You know, a lot of people out there like that. There really is. So they don't even know. So they don't realize what's really going on around them. But man, I don't know. They have got to sit down. Maybe what they could do, okay, next year. This would be best case scenario for Milestone, in my opinion. Okay? Best thing they could do is not even have a Supercross game at all next year. No Supercross game. So they're not like sitting there developing that Supercross game at the early start of the year, you know what I mean, and spending all their time doing that, and then they go into their MXGP motocross game. Don't even make a Supercross game next year, right? Focus on one game a year, right? What you should do is do everything you can to get the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross AMA National rights or whatever the hell, to where you can make that game next year. Put all of your time into it. Make all of the replica tracks of next year. The AMA Natty replica tracks, right? Southwick, Red Bud, whatever the tracks are going to be on next year's schedule. See all of them in real life. Actually try to make that track exactly how it is in real life. All of the lines, all the jumps, everything, right? And then release your game after the pro motocross season next year. Have all the tracks in there, and have a bomb-ass track editor, outdoor track editor in that game. That's the ticket right there. I'm just telling you right now. Have a bomb-ass motocross track editor that's literally like, you know, you can make your own elevation, make your own roughness, make your own inside ruts, make your own, all of those kind of customization pieces in the track editor. You know, you can literally change the actual dirt compounds, make a sand track versus a hard pack blue groove track versus a, you know, brownie mix dirt track versus a loam track versus a red clay track versus a, I feel like I can just pop off of it, motherfucker. Oh shit. Yeah, I cracked myself up, boys. Yo, by the way, if any of you guys want to donate to me, just letting you guys know, I'll read your message off. No matter how much you donate, even if you only donate like $1 or whatever the hell, I'll read your donation off at the beginning of a future video. Just letting you guys know if you want to do that. There's a link down below in the description. And yeah, and also if you make it in the top 10, you'll be in all my video descriptions in the future, and you'll actually end up being, sometimes I display my top 10 donator list within the videos as well, so you can definitely look in the description to figure out if you want to do that. But either way, you don't have to donate, it's all good, dog. You know what I'm saying? I get it, man. Like, life's hard, man. You gotta, money's hard to come by, you know what I'm saying? Dollar means a lot, you know? So, but either way, it both ways, you know? Dollar means a lot to me, dollar means a lot to you if you don't want to donate it, you know what I'm saying? But back to what I was saying, I had to do a little shameless plug there. Back to what I was saying, basically, and I think a lot of people may not realize, like, a lot of times when you donate to a YouTuber, I don't necessarily think they read your message off in a video, in a future video. I don't think they really do that. That's more of like a live streaming thing, but I do that even on YouTube. So I just have to kind of let you guys know that every once in a while. But either way, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. They got to have that track editor with the actual different dirt compounds and being able to move objects around, like not have it to where it's how in MXGP 2019 it's going to be like pre-made outdoor areas, like 3 or 4 different ones, and then it's going to be. So my sort of thought process behind all that is like not have it to where it's so much like pre-made areas with whatever sort of biome, but it's more so you start out on a completely blank canvas of an outdoor track, right? And then you choose between like however many, 10 or 20 different like standard biomes. Then you go in there and pick the trees you want on the biome. Then you go in there and pick the skybox you want and the lighting you want and the time of day and the I don't know, like some of the other little random whatever kind of you could have like multiple different options in there versus just like having one kind of biome with one kind of off-track trees and one kind of skybox design or whatever the hell. Like they could definitely expand a lot on the track editor of what we're going to be getting in MXGP 2019. I mean a lot. Like a lot. And what's up, dog? Inviting me to play some Reflex. By the way, if you want to go add me up on Steam, my username is just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. I get on here and play, PUBG randomly and some other motocross games, and I randomly invite you guys to that stuff too. So, but yeah, and also not only that, but I would suspect that the first-person camera in MXGP 2020 would be where you can actually adjust it. You know what I mean? Actually, like go in there and change the height, field of view, angle, all that kind of shit like you can do in MX Simulator, even in a console game. MX versus ATV has already proved they can have that in a console game. So yeah, either way, that's sort of my thought on that. But yeah, so I don't know, boys. It's such a slow progression with these Milestone games. But I really think at this current point, like, everybody's had the MXGP replica track so many times in a row that's not really like piquing anybody's interest anymore. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's just not like, and I'm not saying to never do it again. Like, I definitely think they could maybe, in MXGP 2020, make it Lucas Oil official motocross official video game 2020, bitches. You know what I mean? Do that year, and then the next year could come out with like a, Supercross 3 game, and that's the only game you come out in 2021. And then the next year in 2022, after we've had each one of those games for the past 2 years, then maybe you can make like an MXGP 2020, 2022 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Have you like an MXGP game at that point, and then cycle them like that to where you don't have the same sort of replica series in a game every year. It's just a very bizarre. Oh my God, he's inviting me like nonstop over here. I apologize, boys. I need to start turning off my actual Steam notifications when I'm making a video. But either way, so yeah, I mean, I just think that would be the best. If I was the head honcho manager over there at Milestone, that's what I would do. I'd put all my efforts into, and let me tell you something right here. I think they would make just as much money or more if they went in there and only made a Lucas Oil AMA replica national game for 2020 versus having a official Supercross game and a MXGP official game for 2020. I think they would make just as much money with one Lucas Oil Pro National game versus 2 of, Supercross and the MXGP game. I think they would make just as much money or more by that with only one game because of how much more people want that game than they do another one of these games. You know what I mean? Just imagine the sort of burnout people are going to have for the MXGP series after MXGP 2019. Another MXGP game. So it will have been the first MXGP game, the next year MXGP 2, the next year MXGP 3, the next year MXGP Pro, the next year MXGP 19, sorry, MXGP 2019. Just imagine the repetitiveness of that at that point. Man, and I mean, they have made some improvements. I'm not sitting here saying they haven't. Obviously, if you go back and play the first MXGP game, it's like, Jesus Christ, that was some ancient, motocross physics right there compared to some of their newer stuff. But to me, it just seems like you have to look every 2 games in a Milestone game to really see an improvement versus every game. So like if you go from looking at the first MXGP game to MXGP 2, there's probably not that big of an improvement. But if you go from like MXGP, the original, the first game, to MXGP 3, then you're going to start seeing more of an improvement, right? And if you go from MXGP 3 to like MXGP Pro, you're probably not going to see that much of an improvement. But if you go from MXGP 3 to MXGP 2019, you're probably going to see a little bit more of an improvement. You know what I'm getting at as far as just overall content, overall compound, I mean, the waypoint series, the track editor they're finally putting in, all that kind of crap, I just hope that they can really expand upon those systems versus just like, hey, here's our Supercross track editor in a motocross game, and here's some more replica tracks that we've had in the last 3 games that we've made, or I take that back, last 4 games that we've made. Here's the same kind of replica tracks and you've been getting every year. And oh, by the way, they look pretty much the exact same. And doesn't really look like our terrain deformation system's doing a whole lot more. No inside ruts, no roughness, not any bigger jump vibes going on. Not a whole lot more fun factor in that kind of sense. Not a whole lot more free, different kind of whips. It's just all these like core critical things. Milestone's going to have to wake up to this shit, man, or they're going to lose their, and I don't want them to lose their main, like, fan base and their main popularity and people buying their games and stuff. I don't want that to happen to any motocross game, but I'm just saying, that's a big-ass huck right there. That's probably the biggest jump on any of these national tracks right there to actually clear that, right? But, see, that's the crazy part is, like, that's the kind of jumps you hit on damn near every MX track of most motocross games. With a Milestone game, it's like you got to literally scrounge and search just for one track that'll have like actual somewhat decent sized jumps. Like this track right here is the one track in MXGP Pro to me that actually feels like it has somewhat okay, decent sized jumps on it. You know what I mean? And some dude commented something on one of my videos kind of interesting. He was saying something along the lines of like, instead of making the jumps a lot bigger, you could just make the rider and the bike scaling like half the size. So then your actual rider and the bike itself is half the size of what it usually is, which is going to equal making bigger rollers, bigger jumps, bigger everything, but it's still the same replica track, you know what I mean? So instead of changing the scaling of the track, you change the scaling of the rider and the bike. It's an interesting thought process there. I never really thought of doing it like that. And then obviously you'd have to change scaling of the off-track objects and stuff like that, so you wouldn't look like a miniature miniature version of the dude ski on the bike. But either way, definitely let me know down in the comments below what you guys think, how much of an improvement you think you're going to get for whatever the MXGP game is going to be for 2019, because I have no idea, or 2020, sorry. I have no idea. But definitely fascinated with seeing that. God bless America. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a very specific gearing shift at a very specific time. do everything a very specific way to be able to hit that jump right there. But I think if they did go to that Lucas Oil official motocross vibe, they can get away with doing a lot more pre-made roughness, a lot more bigger jump vibes, a lot more pre-made inside ruts, all that kind of stuff, because I think just in general there's more of all of that in the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross AMA Nationals versus the actual MXGP nationals. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the MXGP tracks are really more flat track vibed. Some of them aren't, but a lot of them just kind of have that different like European flair to them, you know, and they don't really get like the AMA national tracks. So, and I just think in general, a lot of the jumps on the MXGP tracks in real life aren't quite as big in general as what they are in some of the AMA national tracks. So, I don't know, man. They're just going to have to make a lot of improvements on a lot of different... It's almost getting to that point where it's like, I literally feel like they're going to have to like pretty steadily improve every aspect of their game to keep people into it now. You know what I mean? It's not to the point where it's just like, oh, they just need to improve this, or oh, if they just fix that, they'll be all good, or whatever. I literally think it's every single aspect of their game. On-track designs, inside ruts, roughness, bigger jump, fun factor, all of that. The actual physics of the bike, making the whips more free, having more leaning forward, backwards, being able to actually huck the bike skill gap, that whole 9 yards, right? Having that better balance between where you can pop off, but not everywhere, like in MXGP Pro. So they need to fix the on-track designs. They need to fix the physics of the bike. They need to fix the track editor that's going to be lackluster in MXGP 2019. They need to fix the content in the game. They've got to start putting more shit in there than just the standard tracks of whatever year that's that official whatever that they're doing. You know what I mean? Like having at least a handful or better of supercross tracks in their next motocross games so that you got a little bit of that vibe going on. I know they had one or two in this game? I think they just had one on that little, what was actually part of the compound, right? So kind of like having that, but having like 5 of them, you know? Having them in different biomes and stuff that aren't the actual replica tracks, just to give you a little bit of that different kind of riding that's not just another motocross track in that motocross only game. And then vice versa in their supercross games, you know, at least having a handful of actual motocross tracks on that so that you can ride a little bit on something like that, kind of like they have in that paid DLC compound that they had in the first supercross game with that little national track on that. It's just that content. They've got to start having more of that. And by golly, who knows, like maybe a 500cc bike or a 50cc bike or something really fun like that, or like a little, you know, more fun game modes like tag or fun shit like that to do when you're free riding with your buddies, bigger jump free ride tracks, all that kind of stuff. It's literally every aspect of the game I feel like needs pretty critically improved on for MXGP 2020. And if they don't, it's just going to be even worse of that vibe that people are already getting now of seeing the early stuff of MXGP 2019. It's just going to be worse next year if they don't really improve on damn near every aspect of it. But either way, all you can do is wait and see, guys. I'm hopeful. I really am. But it's just to that point where it's like, you know, you can forgive them after the first MXGP game, right? Then MXGP 2, it's like, okay, not a crazy amount of improvements, but some improvements, right? Okay, give them a little bit of a pass for that. Okay, then MXGP 3, it's like, okay, we're going to have to really start seeing some improvements now. You know, we really need to start seeing something different here. Like, come on, start doing something. Then MXGP Pro comes out the next year. It's like, good God, what the fuck are you doing? And then it's MXGP 2019 early gameplay trailers looks the same. Like, okay, now it's down to the nut cutting now. You're going to have to do something. So it's like, I literally think if they don't really, really improve on all this that I'm talking about for MXGP 2020, there ain't going to be another MXGP game. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Like, I really honestly don't think there will be if they don't make massive improvements to all that. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. As always, later, dudes.